Alright guys, so this is my attempt to give you a introduction to arithmetic series. So most of your teachers have already posted videos on arithmetic sequence. This is just going to be a really quick kind of just two additional examples of what and how they're trying to have you guys find with this stuff. So let's kind of recall that a series, so if you're looking for an arithmetic series, it's just the sum. If you remember what sum is, sum means to add, right? So the sum of two numbers is when you add them of a sequence. So when finding the sum of an arithmetic sequence, use the following formula. So whenever you have a series, just like we do in these two examples, and they want you to add up all these numbers, 2 plus 4 plus 6, you don't want to have to do them in your head. Even with the calculator, you're going to want something easier for a formula. So this is what the formula is. It is the sum of however many terms that you are adding together is equal to the number of terms that you're adding, n, times your first term plus the last term divided by 2. So that's your formula. Again, what does n stand for? N stands for the number of terms. A sub 1 is your first term, and a sub n is your last term. So that's what the formula is. Again, now we're going to learn how to use it. So notice that I have a sequence here. This is a sequence. I want you to find the arithmetic series. So I want you to find the sum of all these numbers. Now notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the sum of the first 10 terms. So S of my first 10 is going to be equal to n. How many terms do I have? 10 times my first term, and my first term is 2, plus my last term, or my 10th term, because I'm finding the first 10, which is 20, divided by 2. Now, what I like to do in order to solve these is I like to do everything inside the parentheses first. So this is going to become 10 times 2 plus 20, which is 22, divided by 2. 22 divided by 2 is 11, and then 10 times 11 equals 110. So if you were to add up the first 10 terms of the sequence, so if you were to add 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10, you would get 110. Alright, so feel free to press pause, and if you don't want to, again, just follow along, make sure that you're following along. So notice I have negative 6, negative 19, negative 32. They're subtracting 13 each time. This would be a pretty hard one, I would say, because the numbers are pretty big, to add up all these. So we're going to use our formula to find the sum of the first 8. Now keep in mind I have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's these little dots that show there's something in between, and then this is my 8th term. So let's just assume this is your first and this is your 8th term. So the sum of the first 8 terms is going to be equal to the number of terms I'm adding, which is 8, times my first term of negative 6 plus my last term of negative 97, all divided by 2. Now let's do the math. This is still going to be 8 times negative 6 plus a negative 97, which is a negative 103 divided by 2. 103 divided by 2 is going to be 51.5, a negative 51.5. Then 8 times 51.5 is going to equal negative 412. So the sum of the first 8 terms equals 412, and that is how you do that. Make sure that you make a copy of these and turn them into Google Classrooms.